Hello, this is Brian, and welcome to our very first special edition of Hive Nation News, HNN Spotlight. Today, we are going to be sitting down with Zoe, Cody, and Liam. Zoe and Cody are FRC and FTC mentors, and Liam is a senior FRC student. All three had the opportunity to go down to the Norwalk Havoc Robot League event on September 18th. Let's see what they have to say about what combat robotics is and how they felt about their experience.
The difference between combat robotics and what we normally do in FTC and FRC is that in combat robots, we're not working with an alliance. We are actually going for destruction and completely disabling the other robot, whereas with FTC and FRC, we have a set of goals that we're trying to reach, and we're working with another team to accomplish these goals, or another set of teams to accomplish these goals.
In FTC and FRC, we're given a pretty complicated task or set of tasks that require a lot of sensors to figure out what we need to do at any moment. The combat robotics focuses much more on the mechanical side, where it doesn't require as much thought into what you're going to do each round, but in how your robot is built. So it focuses much more on building a very reliable robot that can take a lot of hits and just keep going throughout the whole competition.
Combat robotics is a lot different than FTC and FRC, especially in the way that you design the robot. Because in FTC and FRC, the game is all about scoring points. So it's all about being efficient and being able to pick things up and shoot them and place them. But with combat robots, it's all about designing for durability and how to take hits and just to be a structurally sound machine.
So this is my robot Flightless. It is competing in the 3-pound weight limit. However, it is actually about 5 pounds because it gets a 2-pound bonus for not having wheels. This robot, unlike most other robots, operates more like a hex bug, where it has these steel bristles on it that are bent at an angle. So my weapons, that would usually go inside of here, are unbalanced, so they make the robot vibrate a lot. And when that vibration is pushing the robot forwards, the bristles slide along the floor and let the robot go forwards. But when the weapon is vibrating to push the robot backwards, the bristles will catch it and stop it. So the robot goes forwards while I'm running the weapons.
So my robot is a drum spinner robot in the 12-pound weight class. It has 2 teeth on it that can grab onto the other robots when I attack them, spinning at about 5,000 RPM. Then it is a brushless drive, meaning that it just has brushless motors on a gearbox to drive the wheels, which are about 4-inch wheels, a little bit larger than 4 inches. My robot is in the 12-pound class, but it's slightly less than 12 pounds. It's about 11.6 to allow the mini-bot to have a little bit more weight in it. And then it's all aluminum construction. There used to be a steel bar on the back to add some weight behind my wheels to put more pressure on my wheels, but that's gone now. So there used to be steel here too.
So this robot is called Berserker. It weighs around 3.5 pounds, and it competes as a mini-bot in the 12-pound league to assist Zoe's robot Busy Bee. It just has a front wedge that's made of stainless steel. It's designed to take hits and just kind of deflect damage, and also just kind of get in the way, and so Busy Bee can get in some good hits.
I learned a lot of things through combat robots this year. I learned a lot more about gearboxes than I knew before, especially because I made my own gearboxes for this robot, and how to construct the weapon. I didn't have a lot of mechanical design experience with that, and I got to talk to a lot of people at the actual event to learn how to create a weapon that was effective. My first weapon was a bar of steel, which I just got from a hardware store, and that evolved into a much more complicated stack up of metal to create my drum weapon. So I would say that was one of the biggest learning points, is how to make an effective weapon that wasn't super simple.
Fighting with this robot and building it was a huge learning experience for me. I did not expect reliability to be as difficult of a task as it was. I know that I am lacking in having armor in most parts of my robot. What I didn't expect is that the robot really would tear itself apart without any opponent at all. The axle that the weapons were attached to, just from me running my own weapon, actually was messing up the entire chassis of my robot. So I learned a lot about basically having to build a reliable robot just to sustain its own forces internal to itself.
I learned a lot when it comes to how to design a combat robot, and just to look at the robot and see like how can it like take a hit, like which ways can it take a hit and how to counter that. Because definitely in this robot I learned that it had a lot of glaring weak points to where it took a hit somewhere that I didn't even expect and it completely disabled it. So I definitely learned how to counter that in the future.
Next year I do plan to participate in the combat robotics competition after the FTC and the FRC season is over. I plan to do a new robot, but I also plan to iterate on Busy Bee because I really like this robot. I plan to try different weapons and different drives because I saw a lot of people using different kinds of wheels, and I would love to try those other options too.
Next year, I hope to do our in-house tournament as well as Norwalk again, but I hope to design a completely new robot and one that won't just be a mini-bot, a completely on its own robot, and I'm looking forward to that.
I definitely plan on competing again next year. It'll probably wait until after the FTC season is over, but I plan on attending an event in May where I'll be designing a whole new robot. It might be another bot similar to this one where there's no wheels, but I'm not quite sure yet. As far as Flightless itself, I definitely have a lot of improvements I want to make. I think that these weapons are way heavier than they need to be, so I plan on having lighter weapons for the next iteration of this robot so that I can spend more of my weight building armor around the weapons or around the electronics. Combat robotics was a lot of fun. It was an interesting challenge that presented a lot of issues that I did not expect coming from the FTC background.
I had a lot of fun at the Norwalk Havoc event, and I am very excited to continue with combat robots in the future.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun, and it's really refreshing to go to a big robotics tournament again.